Well, all right, everybody. Happy Monday. It's E.R. Wolf, joined by Guy Toole and a few other people for sprint planning here at LFI. We're so excited to have you guys on and getting ready to prepare for the week. As you know, if you're joining us now, this is something that we do each and every week to get ourselves set up for the week. Guy, we've spent so much time talking about this. You've got to have a plan, make a plan, put your plan down in writing, and then start executing that plan. We've done that for ourselves. We did it leading into the new year. We're now about 6 weeks into the new year. People will implement, they'll come and go. They'll try to implement something and then maybe it won't catch on as a habit, et cetera. We've talked about, using those goals sort of as our Northern Star and then setting in place the processes and the systems and really the habits that are going to lead us in the direction of executing on our plan. And I know you and I have been consistent with that well before the start of the new year, but also readjusting and resetting. And I think this is something as a topic here as we review our first sort of month of January, moving into February. We want to continually take an opportunity to measure our progress and make adjustments. And one of the things that I think about so often is a term called optimization. And for those of us who are watching and participating in this, one of the things that I think about is, one, I have to implement something, right? Just start moving forward, implement it, start working towards it, and then come back and course correct and make micro adjustments to improve. I'm going to give you an example of this. As I mentioned in December, I started getting up at 5 a.m., started knocking out my workout in the morning because I just wasn't finding time throughout the day to get it done. And I knew if I didn't get it done, I would procrastinate or just find an excuse not to do it. So to have a time in the morning to just knock it out was great. And I used a process that we read in James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, called habit stacking, where I said, look, if I'm going to get on the treadmill, I can watch Netflix while I walk, but I can only watch Netflix if I'm on the treadmill walking. And that helped me implement or adopt that new habit. And then after a few weeks of doing that, I thought to myself, wow, I should really take an opportunity to be listening to maybe my motivation, my personal improvement, my audio, my podcasts while I'm walking, as opposed to watching. So I made that adjustment. And incrementally, I keep coming back and looking for ways to optimize my process. And I know for everybody on this call, we're all running our own process. We're all running a system. The question that we ask ourselves is the system taking us in the direction that we want to go? And I think that's the first question everybody needs to ask themselves, right? I'm looking at my process for the day. I have my agenda of what I'm breaking out and what I'm doing throughout the day. We all know we have that 86,400 seconds in the day, and we're just trying to make the best use of that time as we prioritize what we need to do. Guy, our process is pretty simple when we think about the system of running the business and of what we're working on. We time block everything. We allocate time for specific activities. We know for affiliates that we support within LFI that we're doing 5 calls, 1 hour a day, every day of the week to provide help and support. And then within the remaining time, we're working on these action items, these win list items that we need to get done. And so our process is pretty simple. We go through, we review at the end of the week, Friday or Sunday, how was the previous week? We look for opportunities to optimize or improve. We set down our goals and sort of what we're working on, the win list items for this week. I mean, this is my 2-page list of all of my win list items that I'm going to be knocking out this week and prioritizing in addition to everything recurring that we have going on. So if somebody's watching this, and again, we've talked about what are the activities we can do to create a passive residual income leveraging LFI's affiliate program, and what action items and activities are required in order to be successful at that. And we've gone through a bunch of overviews, and everything boils down to one revenue generating activity, right? Make a referral. In order to make a referral, you've got to be out there using your Shuffle application every day, right? I want to be networking and sharing my digital business card with individuals. I want to be getting in front of them about my products or service or who I am. And I also want to be actively exposing and introducing people to LFI and Shuffle on a consistent basis. In order for us to support people, we put in 5 meetings. Obviously, this is one of those 5 meetings, and it's all about planning. We know if you don't make a plan, you're going to be really unlikely to achieve that plan. If you do make a plan, put it in writing, and are diligent about following that, then you just need to focus on the here and now and not get discouraged about the future. On Tuesdays, we talk about preparing, right? We want to be prepared to implement our plan. That includes having the right skills and the right tools. And part of that is tool training. So on Tuesdays, we do Tuesday with Kathy at 2 p.m. Central Time for all things tool usage. If you feel like you're an expert at the tool, I'd encourage you to still participate so that you can add some additional knowledge and help the network out in really maximizing their use of Shuffle. On Wednesdays, we roll into Mindset of a Champion in the evening. That's a secondary add-on that I encourage people to participate in. It's part of that preparation of having the right mindset and the right skills to interact and excel in whatever business you're doing, but primarily the LFI affiliate program. On Thursday, we typically do a roundtable or mastermind discussion, right? We host that at 10 a.m. Mountain Time every Thursday. And then on Friday, we do Friday with the founders. Unfortunately, you and I had some conflicts come up. All of those have been resolved, but we try to hold that every Friday, again, to offer support to everybody. So the only challenge to everybody is, what of those are you going to participate in? Are you participating in them live? Are you watching the replay? Are you taking an opportunity to share and invite people to that, or share out the replay to other people? These are all for the benefit of our network. These are all for the benefit of everybody within this LFI community. And you and I will be relentlessly consistent on hosting these throughout the week, but we don't stop there, right? We don't just say, oh, okay, we did our hour today and we're done. Look, I've been up since 5 and I've been plugging away, and I'm pausing what I'm working on to come on to do Monday sprint planning. After we're done with that, we're going to roll into another meeting, and we literally have back-to-back meetings all today. So it's busy, and we encourage everybody to do the same. You know, where are you at in what you're running? What does your process look like? And what are all of the action items you need to do? If some of those action items are for, you know, your physical or your family or your mental or your financial or your spiritual or your career or your personal, where are you going to fit them in? And how are you going to prioritize your schedule to work and balance on all of those things? For me, the spiritual happened on Sunday. The mental, the family, the physical was all happening this morning. I'm moving into my career and my financial for my workday, right? I block it in from 9 to 5 p.m. and there's allocated time and areas that are blocked in to work and focus on the win list items. Every now and then I'll take an opportunity, will, skill, and refill over the weekend and pour into myself personally. But I keep reviewing that and I keep looking for areas of optimization. So I'm going to get off my soapbox here, Guy, and let you add anything you want to. And then also open this up for anybody who's participating with us live. Greg, it's good to see you. Anna, always a pleasure. Danon, also great to see you and have you on. We want to hear from you guys. You know, where are you seeing progress? How are you making your plan? What types of things have been helping you out? Where are you struggling, and how can we all help each other excel and improve? So, Guy, I'm going to throw this over to you if you have anything to add.
Definitely. You know, I think we all have to go into every week with the proper attitude, right? That sometimes people are limited not by their opportunities, but by their attitude. And attitude is going to be one of the biggest things that's going to take you into your week. It's going to take you into your day. We do basically the confidence boosting affirmations, right? We've all heard confidence boosting affirmations, and we all heard it from, God rest his soul, Bob Proctor, who passed away over this last weekend, which it is, in some sense, when I start thinking about all that he has given, some people say he's before his time, but he was at the right time, and he had the same resonating message that you know, Zig Ziglar had, that a lot of people in the same space have, that everyone has enough to achieve what they want to do. within themselves.
Mhm.
And
Absolutely.
building that confidence and knowing that I'm going to go in confident, boosting affirmations. I have all I need to achieve my goals and my dreams. You have all you need to achieve your goals. You want to lose weight, you want to work out, you have all that it takes. The only limitations yourself if you're going to get up and do it. The same thing happens within business. The same thing happens in the physical, the mental, the spiritual. You're going to get out what you put in. And I think so many people get into business, they get into opportunities and they say, I'm in it. And it's just, the rain is going to come down. It's going to give me a golden shower type thing that sound bad, but it's going to be something that I'm going to jump in and it's just going to happen for me.
Right.
And life doesn't happen like that. Business doesn't happen like that. There's no goose that lays golden eggs. There's people that work. There's people that get what they want because they're not putting limitations on themselves. The quote up there, before you become an overnight success, you have to be an everyday hustler. And it's something that resonated with me. It resonated enough that I put it up on the board to start my day, to go throughout. The next time you see me on a live, it'll be something different, but that's what I will go through. And ER says, we limit ourselves from a 9 to 5. Yeah, I wish we limited ourselves from a 9 to 5, but we get the opportunity to work 80 hours so we don't have to work 40 hours type thing,
Right.
But it is something that, a process that we've talked about going into last year was AMP, attitude, moment, and process, and making sure that I have the correct attitude in everything that I'm doing. Your attitude is going to determine how it goes. It's that dead simple. If you put limitations on yourself, then watch yourself not reach your goals. Watch yourself not reach your dreams. ER, you mentioned, we always mention goals and we always mention a system. And if you were to just put your goal out there, it's just going to be a goal. It's just going to be a dream, but you have to take action. You have to have a system. So another Bob Proctor quote is, focus on your goal and not the how. Right? Not really the how, just do work, put work in, go out, make connections. I think we're in such a great time in history that people are understanding that business is based on relationships. Business is based on networking. Business is based on community. We're seeing technology advancing into the ones that will be successful. The ones that will work are the ones that can build network and community. And what I love about it is we've got a great network. We're building community. We get an opportunity every day to bring more and more people into the network to build community. And you best bet that you're not the only ones out there doing it. ER and I are going to be doing it as well. There's so much happening that if no one else is going to say it, we're going to say it. So we're putting so many things together. And I would say, don't wait to watch this network grow and then say shoulda, coulda, woulda, because it's going to happen. There's so much happening in the backgrounds. ER's got some hieroglyphics on his board that if you decipher and read into are some amazing things that will be happening. That is our focus. And the focus is so exciting that we can't stop talking about it to people. And when people get involved in it, they can't stop talking about it. I get a text thread from ER yesterday that takes me about 40 minutes to read because it's a conversation between him and another individual on where to take this and different types of people that he's in communication with. And that's how you end up with 25 meetings a week, because people are out there having those conversations, understanding, knowing that networking community is going to be the catalyst of what business is going to be about. But the only ones that are going to be successful in it are the ones that are going to take action and not put limitations on themselves and not say, I don't know how to. If you don't know how to, we have availability, we have trainings, we have a phone that we can call, we can text, we can message. You can reach and find someone how to. Granted, if I've always learned better by doing it myself, and I can implement those types of things when I do it myself, instead of having to reach out to someone and not write it down. And when they're telling me about it, it's going in one ear and I'm catching just what I need, and it's going out the other and I don't catch everything else. And then I call them back the next day and they're like, I already told you this. Make sure that you're receiving all the information, you're taking it down, you're understanding, okay, if I'm going to be moving towards my goal, I know I've got everything within me to do it. And when I have that, when I solely believe hard enough in myself, is the only time that you'll grow, is the only time that you'll be confident enough in having conversations. But knowing that conversations can be had and can be shared by everyone, can be brought in, and it's all part of our network and our community, and what's so exciting about the future of everything happening here.
Yeah, Guy, I want to take an opportunity to just think about that comment you made on AMP, attitude, moment, process. And I know this is something that we participate in on a continual basis throughout the day, leading up to every event that we have going on, every meeting that we have going on. It's almost like right before that meeting, we take an opportunity, whether it's a minute long or a few minutes long, to coordinate with each other, to talk about what we expect to happen at that thing, to get ourselves in the right mind frame, right? To get ourselves in the right attitude, just for that moment, and then go into our process. And it's so weird that everything has a process or a system that you can follow. And a big question I would have you ask yourself is, do you feel like you have a system or a process for everything? Because when you take a step back and look at it, I assure you that you do. And I was sort of chuckling about it this morning as I was making my breakfast, that I realized, again, it was like a reconfirmation that I have a process that I go through when I make breakfast. But I've been doing it so often, right? And so many times that it happens subconsciously. You know, I reach into the cabinet, I pull out my mug, I put the coffee in, I get that started. I'm going to the fridge and grabbing eggs and bread and all this stuff to make it. And before I know it, I've gone through an entire process that typically is the same over and over and over again. And I mentioned the topic of optimization. In fact, I've done it so many times and it's become so subconscious that I even have found that there's not really any area for improvement. You know what I mean? Like I find myself toggling between the toaster and the stove and the coffee machine, all in this sort of sequence of dance moves in a way. And that's just one example of so many other processes that we run. I'm just trying to keep it simple and understandable. And so when I'm thinking about my process for the week and making a weekly plan, again, I talk about that 9 to 5 block. That's really when I'm going to be focused on things that I know I'm going to eliminate all distractions for. Yes, things are going to come up before or after and in between, and we want to be able to be flexible for that. But we're also following that process or that system. So we took an opportunity to time block everything out, right? I know from basically 5 a.m. till about 9 a.m., I've got everything to do with my physical and my mental, my family. I'm hanging out with the kids and having breakfast. We're getting them off to school, and then I'm getting plugged in. And then I'm in this room. I've shut the door. I'm focused. I'm going to be laser focused on what I have going on. I know I'm focused 100% on this meeting at this time. Why? Because I know there's a benefit for Guy and I know there's a benefit for you. Otherwise, we wouldn't do this meeting. Then we're going to go out into our other meetings throughout the day. And it's weird, but it's like back to back to back. But there are all these amazing conversations that I wish we could open the door for everybody here to be a fly on the wall to listen to, because they're going to get an opportunity, hopefully in the future, to see what everything is progressing towards. And I'm not trying to get distracted about what we have on Friday. When I lay out my week, I'm getting it out of my mind and into my calendar. And I really am working, and I don't know if anybody else has suggestions on this, but I'm working off of my quick little list of all my win list items. I take an opportunity to write it down. In fact, this is not the first time I've written it down. I brain dump it on Guy. Hey, Guy, here's what I think are the big things I've got going on this week. What do you have going on this week? And is there anything we can support each other on? And that's one of the benefits for having a partner and being able to work with somebody and have some accountability, because I don't always have a great day on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Neither does Guy, but we're able to help each other. And then I work out of my calendar. I've got my calendar set up. If you guys have a calendar, I don't care if it's your calendar in put it on the wall with a pen and flip the pages. If it's a notebook, if it's a digital calendar, if it's the calendar on your phone, I've taken an opportunity to block things out. I sure as heck have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, those hour calls recurring in my calendar for the rest of the year. I know when I go to schedule something, even if somebody says, call me back in 6 months, if they say it's at 10 a.m. on Monday, I say I can't do 10 a.m. on Monday, but I can do this time or this time or this time, because I've prioritized that time for these live calls. I'll also prioritize certain activity blocks. We call them time blocking. Are there people that you need to follow up with? If you're struggling to follow up with people, allocate a specific amount of time. Maybe it's every day for 1 hour, for 30 minutes, heck, for 15 minutes, just to pick up the phone and start making those calls or those outreaches or those emails or those follow-ups. Again, you want to allocate the time for it. Guy, we do a lot of development stuff, right? We're creating this amazing technology. We have time allocated specifically to go through that. We have time allocated specifically to meet with our team, and it recurs. It's the same so that there's consistency. And then we talked about it on a previous call where when we're talking about scheduling, a great recommendation, don't allocate 100% of your time, because fires are going to pop up. There's things that are outside of your control. A good best practice is to fill up about 60% of your time and then leave about 40% flexible. You're always going to have a list of items that you can jump into during that flex time, but there's also times when things are going to pop up and you're going to need to say, oh, I've got to shift this around or do this, and therefore I'm going to need to come back and take care of something that I maybe had already planned, but something popped up. So again, I can't stress it enough. If you're not doing these things, implement it and try it and see what the result is. Come back and look at the result and measure it. And then if you measure it and see progress, continue to do that. And over time, you're going to start to see, I'm making progress. Can I optimize it? And then as you optimize, you'll start improving over time. And that's really the key to everything. We talked about that James Clear Atomic Habits. 1% improvement every day would be 37 times, right? 37 times improvement over the year, or 365% if you're looking at it that way. But there is a little bit of a compounding effect to that. So I want to open this up for any general comments, questions, thoughts, tips, tricks. I know there's a few people on this call who are also implementing a process, implementing a system, maybe working on things and balancing their primary business or primary focus with their side hustles and all these other things. Does anybody have any questions, tips, or tricks? Don't make me start calling on people. Anna, any thoughts on stuff? Anything we can help you with? I want to make sure you get the most out of your time here with us.
Well, I apologize for being gone so long, and I apologize for my voice. I'm still recovering. But well, yes.
We're glad to have you back, and I hope that you continue to feel better and improve.
Yes, we're currently working on taking the Zoho CRM through Zapier, so that I can connect all the landing pages. But the most important thing that I learned was from Kathy about having a hub page.
Yep.
For my major business, when I went in and created a hub page, and I could take it by topic and take them to videos and to landing pages and to the enrollment page, all on the front on the business card, and that has been so helpful. I haven't decided how I'm going to design the landing page for all the things that I do. But all I know is that they have to connect and they have to be similar. And our company, the Key company offers a lot of tools.
Yep.
But none of them are as complete as the Zoho CRM. And we're going to be launching a series of how to use the service, Facebook Lives, or I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'll let them deal with that. But we're just going to talk about how you use a legal service plan.
Yeah.
And we'll tie that into the business cards as well. So so that not just prospects, but the members will be able to access that information. This is the most amazing tool for tying all of my different ventures together.
I love it. And I really appreciate that feedback. Again, welcome back to the community. It's always great to have you on. I want to tease some information out as I listen to what you were saying. And one of those things was creating a series of different landing pages that link from sort of that hub that is you and what you do. And one, I think that's an amazing strategy. I know that on Tuesday, tomorrow with Kathy, we're actually going to be talking specifically about how to do sort of a microsite or link together multiple shuffle cards. If anybody has had an opportunity to receive Kathy Inman, our master trainer's business card, it's an amazing card. It's very, very nice, neat, simple, but it also has a link hub essentially of all these outbound links that link to other things, other items. Maybe it's a secondary website, maybe it's another URL, maybe it's another shuffle card. We're going to actually be going through that on Tuesday, 2 p.m. Central, to really strategize on how to best build that out. So Anna, I'd invite you to join that because I think it's going to be helpful as you do that. And then the other thing is, how do you eat that elephant, right? Make that big list of all of those things and then chip away at it one at a time. I know, one of our mentors, Edwin Britt, was talking about an analogy of walking through the garage and seeing all these boxes that you have to go through. And it's a mountain of boxes. And you sit there and you look at that overwhelming pile and you go, I'll just come back to that later. When instead, if you just grab a box, right? What are all the landing pages? Let's grab one and let's chip away at getting that one taken care of. And then once it's done, okay, I can come back, I can adjust it, I can improve it, but it's done. And the reality is done is better than perfect. You know what I mean? I think so often we sit there and look at the pile and we say, I have to get that all done at once, or I have to get it all done perfectly. And if I don't, I'd rather just avoid it or not do it. And I'm not saying that that's what you do, Anna, at all. I'm just saying that that's typically what I tend to find.
That's how you start. It's just how you start.
And that's half the battle, right? Just getting started.
I could see that my CRM wasn't doing what I needed here or there, whatever. I did just an introductory to Zoho One. Tagged into a pair of guys that are just doing an amazing job, and I invested in having them help me get through the process. So I understand, because Zoho One is like over 50 different apps.
Yeah.
So you do one at a time and you start adding things, and it's just incredible to me. But having someone who's knowledgeable coach me through that has been very effective. But the big part was that Zoho One took my monthly expenses for servicing from like $270 a month down to $47.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's $200 a month savings every month.
And I think what you're talking about as well is part of this optimization process, right? You implement something, you measure it over time, you come back and you review it, and you look for areas of improvement. Then you make those improvements and adjustments, and you re-implement. And then you go through that cycle over and over and over again over time.
Exactly.
Danon,
we're learning about Zapier was the huge thing.
Yep.
And I called the guys at Zoho One, and they said, yes, we'll check that out for you. They sent me a message last week, said, hey, you need to do this.
Yep.
So, and that I was a little concerned because I'd made this big investment, of time and effort into Zoho One. And then, how am I going to tie that to Elify? And Zapier does it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting that you talk about that. I know we all know the Olympics is going on right now. And I was watching an interview from one of these pro snowboarders, and he won gold in the last Olympics. at 17 years old. And he says, all these young children come approach me, and he was only 17 at the time. And they're asking, wow, how do you do all of these tricks and all of this stuff? It's just so at the pinnacle of the sport. And he said, I started by just putting boots on. You know what I mean? I started by just getting the board underneath me. I started by learning how to go down the hill. You don't plug in and immediately fly through the air doing flips. You know what I mean? Even though he makes it look effortless, and now it's 4 years later, he's progressed even more. And he said, it's a progression. You come in, you get started, you got to crawl before you walk, before you run, you know, and I think that's a process that a lot of people miss out in. I do know that we've got a few questions in chat coming in, and Danon, you've got your hand raised. Before we jump over to Danon, I do want to address, Rose, your question about assistance with organization and planning, and make sure that we take an opportunity for people to actually understand that, because the process is pretty simple, but if you don't take time to implement it, you don't realize any of the benefits. And then Danon, we'll jump over to you. But one thing I want to do real quick, and you're going to see my screen here. You're going to see that I'm one of those people that has like a million different tabs open, and this is only one of a million different windows. I've actually just got a blank calendar right here, LFI Demo Daily Moo, right? Daily Moo calendar. We call it the Moo, M-O-O, right? It's easy to remember. You think of the cow, moo. That's the method of operation. What are you doing? How are you setting it up? And I just want to talk to Rose real quick, and anybody who may be struggling with planning and organization. Again, I mentioned two things. I've got a list. Again, I don't care if you take your list and make it on your phone, write it down. I'm one of those people, even though I'm going to crumple this up and throw it away, I need to write it down. So I'm physically going through that process. Maybe you need to use your thumbs and put it into your phone, or maybe you're writing it on a note, or even leveraging some of the task items in the calendar, whatever works for you, as long as you adopt the strategy. The other thing I want to talk about is blocking. Okay, and setting reoccurring things. So what I like to do, I come in, I know at 10 a.m. on Monday, I'm going to have my sprint call. All right, it lasts an hour, and I'll come in actually, and I'll make it recurring, right? So you'll come in, does it repeat? Yes, it repeats. It repeats weekly on Mondays, and it's for an hour. Sometime, and I think this is very valuable, there's a color setting on here. Maybe you set a color that notifies you, I need to be here at this time. We've heard from other people on previous calls that offer optimization and tips and tricks. They may put their physical stuff in a certain color, their family stuff in a certain color, their meetings or must be here at this time in a certain color. If it's an in-person event, maybe I'll put a certain color so I can know I have to commute somewhere. Those are all valuable little tips and tricks, but then I'll save that. And again, you know, whether I'm going to turn on my quick calendar right here, you can sort of see I've already blocked all of that type of stuff in, but I want you to understand there's a process that you can implement that is no different than anybody else that will help you, right? Tuesday at 2 Central. I'm in Mountain Time, so that's 1 p.m. for us, 2 p.m. Central. I'm going to put Tech Tues at 2 p.m. Central Time. And then again, I would come in and I might come to more options. I might come in and say, I need to be here. So maybe I'm doing my color coding. I might set in that it repeats weekly every Tuesday. Again, if you're doing this for the first time, a lot of these things, you put it in one time, you set it up, and then you make it a repeating thing over and over again. Okay, that will save you so much time. If you're a person who needs to do it daily, I have another calendar and planner where I actually go through, and I'm not thinking about the things I have blocked. I'm thinking about what I'm doing within those blocked times, right? It's become redundant that every Monday after this call, I've got a few other events that are happening that are consistent. So I will come in and write down, what am I doing during those times? I could put it on this calendar. This calendar is the reminder for me of when I need to switch from one thing to another. I get these little alerts on my computer and it says, you know, the next thing is coming up. Take an opportunity to block all of those things. Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. That's when we're doing Mindset of a Champion, or 7 p.m. Mindset of a Champion. I think it might be 7:30 or so, Guy, on the Central Time. I'm messing up with my time adjustments here, but again, this is just an example mindset of a champ. If you can go through this process and follow along with what I'm doing here, you have exactly the skills that you need to implement this. Again, I will come in, I might say more options, add my color, add it as repeating. Guys, it's not that hard. Every Wednesday, set it in. Or Thursday, maybe it's the Thursday at 10. Or the Friday with the founders. I will repeat this process and I will take an opportunity to block all of that stuff out. This is just work stuff. Maybe you want to implement something for your physical stuff. I have my workout every morning at 5 a.m. I'll repeat it daily. And again, I'll get that little alert. This is a calendar that I just use to block time. And then when somebody calls to set a meeting or an appointment, I can jump into this calendar and say, during that block time of maybe it's multiple hours for meeting that I block for myself or for follow-up calls, etc. Again, I want to create a habitual pattern, a habit, a loop that I do over and over and over again. Some days I do the exact same thing every single day, right? I eat breakfast every single day. Okay, and it's usually happening around the same time. There's a repeating thing. There are other things that you're doing that are once a week or twice a week or 3 times a week on certain days. Again, put them in your calendar, schedule, block them out and work through them. That's part of the initial steps in that process. And then get yourself a list. These are things that don't recur. They're just things that need to get done. And I'm going to find time to do them within my blocked categories. That's the big key. Once you do that, you're just consistently going through it and trying not to overwhelm yourself by having yourself so regimented. I met a person who they would regiment their time in 15-minute increments, yet they would never get anything done because they were so overwhelmed with what they were supposed to be doing at that time. Give yourself some grace, but make sure you've allocated time for it. Rose, I hope that helps a little bit. I don't want to spend too much time going through the example here, but that's just the start. Danon, I want to shift over to you. You've had your hand raised and been so patient. Go ahead, let us know, and thanks for joining today.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I just got a couple of questions. One of them is the replays on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The one with Kathy and the one with you, the round table.
Yep.
Okay, the replays, where can I find those?
So your best spot for finding information on the replays is going to be within the LFI YouTube channel. If you're not seeing a replay there, it's one of two things. There was an issue in getting it recorded or going to live. And in which case, if we do have a backup of that, we will upload it and post it. I do know that on the Tuesday calls specifically, those are being recorded by Kathy Inman, our master trainer, and she is in process of uploading those into the YouTube. We're trying to get it set up where she can just broadcast that straight into the YouTube so it'll be auto recorded. We will take an opportunity when we have a replay to send out a quick reminder to everybody that the replay is available. But first and foremost, go and subscribe to that YouTube channel. That is the LFI one, because that's where you're going to find most of the video content, Danon. So again, if you're not seeing something posted there, you can feel free to go into the other place I would recommend, which is the insiders or affiliate groups on Facebook, and put a post in there. Hey guys, is there a replay for this if you're not seeing one in YouTube? But I would direct everybody, first and foremost, jump over to the YouTube channel, check out those broadcasts. That's a great way for you to go back and consume previous information. If I was going to give somebody insight on what to consume, Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, and Thursdays are all going to be on there. Okay, but nothing's going to replace joining live. So if you can make the lives and participate, we welcome you to do that. We even invite you to invite guests to that so that they can see the benefit. But for the replay, the YouTube channel and the groups.
Okay, so it's LFI YouTube.
Yeah, if you go onto YouTube and just do a search for LFI, it will come up. Guy, I don't know if you know the specific name to that channel. I'm not in there every day because I'm in the live, but I know that it's posted in there and it's posted under LFI.
Okay, I noticed that Kathy put in 2 videos in the, I guess, the insiders or the affiliate. Those are the only two she did so far. Those are the
Yep.
only two that for Kathy. Okay, I'll watch those.
I
two.
believe those are the only two. Check those out. Additionally, those might be links to Kathy's YouTube channel. I would recommend as well, if you want to go back to her channel and check those out, you're welcome to do that. We don't have a problem with the cross-pollination, if you will, with that other channel. There's a lot of good information on the trainings that Kathy does, and I don't want anybody to miss out on any of that. We are working collectively together to get it onto our channel and allow her to broadcast the live during those Tuesdays. But most likely it's just going to be the replay video.
Okay, and when you say your win list, what is that? Is that the
We're going to go through it. The win list, I'm going to pull this out. Here's my little example here, right? We all have 86,400 seconds in the day. A great little tip every single day, okay? I've got my weekly win list. This is my brain dump of sort of the big, hairy things that I know I need to get done this week. And on a daily basis, when I sit down to start my day, and Guy, he knows it, usually around 8 a.m., Guy is getting a text message or an instant message from me saying, hey, bud, good morning. Great to see you. Look forward to catching up, even though we just talked like less than 12 hours ago. Here is my daily win list. Win list is an acronym, Danon, for what is important now. We know that we do not manage our time. That's why I say don't manage it in 15-minute increments. You're going to fail. We prioritize our time. What does prioritizing your time mean? It means that there are things that are important that you need to get done. So write those things down and get those things done. Typically, what a lot of us do is we keep ourselves busy doing work for work's sake, but it's not necessarily the important work. So a good tip for everybody, especially in planning, is to do a quick item list, right? Right here, I've got things like we've got to take care of some trademark stuff within our organization. You know, that's a big priority thing. It's a legal thing. I see Anna's got hers up on there as well. Take an opportunity to write it down. Maybe it's, hey, I've got to build these landing pages and I got to get them done. So a win list item for Anna is landing pages. It might even be a step back. It might be, I don't need to build them. I first need to identify them all. So that might be the first win list item, right? I need to identify, make a list of all the pages I think I need to build in Shuffle. That's step one. Step two, which of those pages that I've listed out are the most critical ones to get done first? Step three, start chipping away and pick one of those from the top of the list and go out and build it. So Danon, for you, maybe it's, I need to go out and make a phone call or go to an event or share my card or build a card or update a card, you know, or do a follow-up. These are all win list items. Maybe there's a person you talked to last week that you need to remind yourself, I've got to follow up with that person this week. And you're going to have a follow-up reminder in Shuffle to reach out to that person. Again, these are high priority items. They're what's important now, WIN. We're going to work with a lot of acronyms, right? MOVE. These are all things that are simple and easy for us to remember, but they have big meaning. Okay, MOVE, method of operation. Everything has a flow or a process or a system. So every time I tell myself MOVE, I'm thinking, what's my method of operation? Where am I at? And that's when Guy and I can go through an AMP, attitude, moment, process on each of those MOVE items. And then we're thinking about our win list. What is important right now? I'm not working on things for December. I know they'll come up as I go through the year. What I'm working on is what I need to get done right now. And I think that's the thing that a lot of us miss out on. We're maybe really focused on instant gratification, right? I want that end result right now, but really it's the work and the daily activity that leads to that. So that's what we want to go in at.
Okay, well, so what I was trying to actually get at was, I mean, I thank you for that, but what I was trying to get at was your will and your win list is two separate things.
They are. So you guys saw this win list. This is the reminder of what's important now and how am I using the best use of the time I have available. The reality is we can't change what we did yesterday. It's over. We don't have time machines to go back in time. And we can't leap forward into the future and work in the future. We can only work in the present right now. The other thing, Dana, that you mentioned is the wheel of life, right? We all want to work to be the best version of ourselves, right? The value and the definition of success isn't being 100 out of 10 in one area. It's being balanced in all of these areas. So part of my method of operation is having items from each of these areas that I'm consistently working on every single day. So a good example, I started the day at 5 a.m. I work on my Wheel of Life spoke for physical health by doing a workout in the morning. As part of that workout, I'm also working on my mental health because I do meditation and I'm listening to my personal improvement or my podcasts or my inspirational stuff, all as part of that workout and exercise routine. So there are things that I'm doing every single day that might touch one or multiple of these spokes. Then I'm shifting from that stuff as I start my work day, and I'm working on things that might be tied to career and finance. But again, I'm doing things every day that are working towards those things. On Monday for the career and the financial side, it might be I have to do this Monday sprint planning. Why? Because I want to help everybody be successful because their success is our success. So I make sure that I check that off every day. If I missed Friday, and I literally wanted to get into the Facebook group and say, oh, I'm so sorry, everybody, we're missing Friday, because I know how valuable that event is just for me personally to recoup and collectively get together with the community and be together. So each of those things from the Wheel of Life, Danon, I'm coming up with something that's going to be in my process for the week that I'll do. You know, on the spiritual side, I took time on Sunday to do a lot of that stuff, but maybe there's a daily thing that I do every single day for 5-10 minutes that ties into that. It's all about being relentlessly consistent on each of those items. We talk about the big, long goal that is our Northern Star. Think about your process and your weekly plan as daily goals. And you want to win the day by making sure you're checking off all of those elements of what's important right now. You know, for me, what was important right now was the health stuff in the morning. It's done. No longer important because it's been struck through the list. I don't even have to worry myself with it. I got the workout done. Now, what's important right now? This call, right? That's what Guy would talk about, attitude, moment, purpose. 5 minutes before this call, Guy already on, and we're syncing up and we're getting ourselves in the right mind frame for the Monday sprint planning call. Following this call, we roll straight into another meeting. And then that meeting is going to be specific about some of the technology stuff with Kathy. So we go into that, and we know going into that we're no longer on the sprint planning call. We're in this, and we're in this in the moment. And we don't have to distract ourselves with anything else until that thing comes up. But if we don't know when those things are going to come up because we didn't allocate or prioritize some time for them, then we're just wandering around. That's why they call it a wandering generality versus a meaningful specific. You really want to be focused in on those elements, right? Guys got it put down when you're weekly planning. What is your number one goal for the week or for the day? You know what I mean? Maybe that comes out of the win list. Maybe it's part of that recurring item. We know that it's the sum of all of those actions that are going to total the result over time. And that's really what we're focused on when we come in and we talk about planning.
Okay, my next question was, I know we talked last week or week before last about cloning. What will I be able to clone on the advanced, using the advanced cards?
Yeah, you should be able to clone like what we went through. I know there was a bug in there about cloning from the promo cards, so we had to go through and do a little bit of a workaround. But cloning is a great optimization strategy, right? I don't have to build each card when I can go through and clone. So if there's a specific clone scenario, Danon, that you want to address, bring that tomorrow to the Tech Tuesday at 2, and we'll take an opportunity to go in and dig in on that. What I want to call out is in the chat here, if you guys have been following along, and again, part of my personal process with doing these Zooms, I've got my Zoom window up, I've got my attendance up where I can let people into the room, and I've got the chat up where I can see what's going on. And Guy's got a great little post here with weekly planning. Number one, my number one goal this week is what? Can you answer that question for yourself right now? If you can't answer that, you've got a little bit of work to do in setting that number one goal for this week. I would also challenge you, set yourself a daily goal. And that daily goal could be for your business. It could be for every element on that wheel of life, but set yourself something that I want to do each and every day as in addition to that big objective for the week. Maybe it's, I have to make 25 calls by the end of this week. If you are an affiliate with LFI, I will give you your number one goal for this week. One referral. Write that down. It's something I believe every single one of us can accomplish. You don't have to set the bar so insurmountable, right? 1,000 referrals this week. No, let's set the bar where we know we have 100% confidence we're going to achieve that goal. Like when I set my physical goal, Danon, it was to make sure on a daily basis, I'm walking at least 1 mile. Okay, I know every day I can, at a minimum, walk a mile. I also know that I'm an overachiever, and for the last few weeks, I've not been walking a mile. I've been doing a hiking trek through the Himalayas on my treadmill. You know what I mean? But I'm still getting it done. But at a minimum, if I don't feel like anything, if I say, oh, today's a horrible day, and I just feel like staying in bed all day, my daily goal is I have to go walk a mile. And I know that if I do that relentlessly, consistently, at a minimum for the whole year, I'm going to walk 365 miles. And I know the sum of that is going to be better off at the end of that than where I started. And that's the whole plan. It's not more complex than that, right? So what's your number one goal? What is a situation that might cause you stress this week? We want to prepare to battle that, right? If you know what's coming your way, you can get prepared to face it. Maybe you have a big important meeting coming up. Maybe you have something that you know is coming down the pike that you got to be aware of. If you plan for that, if you set the right attitude, moment, and process for that, you're going to get through that so much easier than if you feel like it just smacks you in the face out of nowhere. Because there's a good chance we can plan for some of the unexpected expectancies, as they would say, right? They're just going to happen, so be prepared. What would your best solution for that thing be? If you think or know something is going to come up, how do you anticipate it? Guy and I are both athletes, and I know Guy would tell you stories when he's on, defense and he's watching the offense set up and he's scanning the field. He's anticipating what might or might not happen, and there's a range of probable elements. But outside of that, he doesn't have to be distracted of things outside that range. Instead, he prepares for it. What are your personal to-dos? What are those top priority lists? What's your win list for the week, let alone for each day? What are your, maybe 5 or less, or number 5, business to-do list? What are the top priorities that are focused on business? Because don't forget, personal and business still need to be worked on in a way simultaneously. You got to find time to focus on every single element of that wheel. Don't drop the ball in one area to focus on another area. Plan accordingly so that you can chip away at every area and make forward progress. What are this week's 8 in play? Think about it. If you just had 8 people that you need to focus on working on this week, that's a little bit more than 1 a day. You know what I mean? What are they in play, and what are you expecting to happen with those relationships? Where are you taking them to? Out of sight, out of mind. There are people that Guy and I talked with last week that we know we have to follow up with this week, that we know are expecting items from us or information from us. We just need to know that we have to get it done. Who will I inspire this week? I think this is an amazing one, right? We talk about getting everything we want by helping enough people get what they want. There's somebody that you can inspire or help this week. And part of that fuels me every time I see somebody who says, like, Anna, when you said earlier that shuffle is a missing element that just really helps you tie everything together, all your ventures together, that is so inspiring to me. It has me amped through the roof. You know what I mean? And I'm ready to go in. Let that inspiration and helping others, pouring into others, actually pours into ourselves. And I think that can't be missed. It's almost about being selfless versus selfish. You'll get a lot more out of everything when you're helping others. Who will I look up to for inspiration? Just as much as you want to pour into somebody else, who can pour into you? Maybe your inspiration comes from getting on one call or watching one replay every day. Guy, I know you and we listen to podcasts all the time. We listen to a lot of instructional, educational, or self-improvement material. This is stuff that pours into us. It might be somebody live we're interacting with. It might be somebody we just follow and we look at as a mentor, as an example. There are so many thought leaders that they're not even around anymore, right? Guy, you just highlighted one that we lost this week. Their material is out there and we can still be pouring it into ourselves, but we have to take an opportunity to pour into ourselves or to look at that stuff, to consume that stuff. You can like the idea of something, but if you don't put it into practice, you will not get the results. Okay, guys, I know we're approaching the top of the hour. Is there any other questions, thoughts, ideas? Guy, I want to kick it over to you as well here. We definitely want to try and keep this around an hour, but we want to pour into everybody here. Thoughts? Right. Yep, go ahead, Guy.
You know, thoughts with this. I put this is the weekly planning sheet that ER and I sort of follow. I also have why we're sitting here. I did something that wasn't most productive for me. But hopefully it's productive for you all, is I took an opportunity to say, if this were Friday, if this were the end of my work week, what does my week in review look like? And I typed that up for you as well, of what we follow as sort of our retrospective. So hopefully this comes through for each and every one of you. Get an opportunity here before we end this live to download. I believe you select the 3 dots on the right hand side and you can save the chat if you need those for later to be able to create your weekly list to prep yourself as well as retrospectively. One thing I sort of want to point out, and this is where I like to involve myself, is looking at this from a coaching aspect and being able to say, and this gives me an opportunity here with the second to last one. If I was my own coach, what would I say to myself about last week? Yeah. That's me going to be accountable to myself. ER and I are accountable to each other. Those are the things that the things that they always say in athletics, the things I think they say everywhere is, you are who you are behind closed doors, or the man in the mirror. Look at the person looking back at you in the mirror. That is the person that is ultimately going to be who you are. If you have a facade out there that you're doing all these things, but yet behind the scenes, you're not being true to yourself. Sometimes look for other people within our community. I think this is what we're really excited to lean into, is being able to validate community, validate the network, and be able to come in and say, you know what, this is what I'm doing. Well, let's do it. Let's put action. Let's get to work. Let's not just talk about it. So right. For me as a coach, this one really resonates with me because I'm going to be accountable to myself. I'm going to be accountable to my partner, to my team, and make sure that if I drop the ball, I will pick that up and I will move it down the field. And I think ER, another person that we had cross paths in our lives, used to always say, from that football analogy, that don't be the player that runs and gets a first down and sets the ball down.
Yeah, right.
Go score every time. Why are we getting to a comfort zone and setting the ball down and looking for another 4 downs to potentially get another first down. Go score every time. So it gives us an opportunity with everything that we're doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, to score touchdowns, to have interactions, to take it to the next interaction, to close deals. There's lots of deals that are getting closed from corporate type things, making decisions on what's going to be happening in the future with LFI, and how we're going to be the only one in play in a certain field, which we're excited about, that no one else will be doing it. We guarantee it, because no one has the foresight in it. Yeah. And I think that is exciting, to be able to bring networks together in a community to allow everyone to participate in it. And the ones that participate will be the ones that win.
I agree. Well, look, guys, in closing, we're at the top of the hour. First of all, I want to thank you for each committing an hour of your time to come and join us live, or if you've watched this in replay, for taking an opportunity to go through the replay. I hope, my hope for you is that you found at least one thing that you heard today that's going to help you move forward and progress forward. That's a big one. The second thing, independent of where you are right now, you have choice and you have hope, that you can change the direction of where you want to go. I know in my heart that that is so true. All you need to do is take action and start going in that direction. Every journey begins with a single step, and you just need to make that choice to start walking in the direction you want to go. And then you'll eventually get there, as long as you never stop. So with that being said, guys, a quick recap of what we have going on. We're going to be leading into the next live call, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow is a Tech Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. It's focused on learning the skills to leverage the technology. On Wednesday, you're going to have Mindset of a Champion at 7 p.m. in the evening. On Thursday, we're going to do a mastermind roundtable. Bring your questions, your tips, your tricks, and let's work together as a community to help everybody else. On Friday, we're going to have Friday with the Founders, and we invite everybody to come and connect with each other and work together towards that common goal. If you're going to do one thing this week, check those types of meetings out. If you're going to do some other things, focus on the win list and what's important right now for you as an individual of what you need to accomplish. Do those two things alone, and I know you're going to make forward progress this week. Let's make it an amazing week for each of us individually and collectively as a community, and we'll see everybody on the next live call. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful Monday and have a great week. Take care. Bless it.
Who made that quote on the back of your wall? Guy?
It was a combination.
Oh, okay.
I'll get you the quote of the two different people, but I guess It would be my quote. I put it together.
Yeah.
All good. I'll get it to you.
All right.
Have a great one, everyone. Take care.